Have I made a big mistake? Have I been talking about ChatGPT and Midjourney just entirely too much and I've let you, my audience, down by not talking about some crazy powerful tools? Maybe. That's what today's episode is for. To tell you some amazing AI tools that you've probably never heard of. All right, so I hope you're excited. Before we get into that, just a reminder, if you're joining us live, thank you. I want you to know that there's so much information that I just left in the comments. So if you're joining us live, we have 80 plus episodes of Everyday AI. So if you're new to the show, click that and catch up. If you're joining us on the podcast, thank you for listening on Spotify, Apple, wherever else. But make sure to check your show notes every single day. But today especially, some great things that I'm going to be linking there later today. So let's get to it. Let's talk about the news first. Let's talk about what's going on in the world of AI news. All right. So, school's in session. Yeah. And that means a lot of AI and chat GPT news. So, a new piece from Politico is showing that schools were once trying to keep chat GPT out, but now they're finally starting to embrace it and starting to integrate it into the classroom, which I'm very excited about. So make sure you check that out in the newsletter today. Also, a kind of related story, an opinion piece from The Hill, essentially saying that the U.S. higher education system is completely off the rails and irreparable because of AI and ChatGPT. So kind of looking at both sides of the coin. Next story. NVIDIA is, yes, they're selling a $40,000 GPU chip and they can't sell it fast enough. They can't keep up with demand. So check that out. But, we talked about NVIDIA a couple of times on this show and how important I personally think they are to the U.S. economy and to generative AI. So make sure to check that story. Yes, they are selling a $40,000 GPU chip that powers all of these generative AI systems that we use. And they're selling them like hotcakes. All right. Last piece of AI news. 11 Labs came out with a V2. So 11 Labs is a text-to-speech service, one of the most popular, and they just released V2, which is much higher quality, much more inflection in the voice, also multilingual, up to 30 languages. So pretty big news from 11 Labs, which is one of the bigger text-to-speech companies in the game. All right, let's get to it. As a reminder, maybe I said this, maybe I didn't. My name's Jordan Wilson. This is Everyday AI. I'm glad you could join us. We do this every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. We help everyday people like you and me keep up with what's going on in the world of AI, all these tools and how we can actually use them. So, like I said at the top of the show, sometimes I feel I talk about ChatGPT a little too much, or Runway a little too much, Midjourney a little too much, and I'm not giving proper shine or proper attention to some other tools, to some other software that I think will be extremely helpful to the everyday AI audience. So, speaking of that everyday AI audience, let me know, for those of you joining us live, what is your favorite piece of software that you use that maybe isn't ChatGPT or Bard or Cloud 2? What's that piece of software, that AI piece of software that you use, that you just find so much value in? We're going to be going over 7 of them, 7 amazing ones today. But first, as always, wanted to shout out those joining us live. Michael, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Woozy tuning in. Athena saying good morning. Thank you. Dr. Harvey Castro joining us as always. Appreciate it. Mercy saying good morning. We have a lot of people joining us. Let's see. Melissa wants more, I think. Drew, former guest, saying what's up. All right. And I agree. I show up every single day to do this. Thank you. Thank you, Drew. All right. Let's get into this. We already have some people dropping some of their favorite AI tools. Let me tell you this. I did a lot of research for this show, if I'm being honest. And it was pretty hard. It was pretty hard to narrow a list down to 7, if I'm being honest. So, something you may not know about me, I am a software junkie. I have more software subscriptions, more SaaS subscriptions than I'd like to admit. Um, yeah, and I get people all the time now that we have an AI based show, and you all are supporting it. Thank you so much. But now I get all the time people reaching out, people with new AI tools, and they want to come on the show and they're trying to get feedback. So I have tried in my lifetime hundreds with an S pieces of AI software. There's that many. We do a 5-minute roundup every single day. And these are some of my favorites. But like I said, I had a list of finalists of about 20 and trying to get it down to 7. So if you want the full list, go ahead right now in the comments. Just type in send. All right, just type in send. I'll send you the full list probably by tomorrow because there's 2 others that I want to include. They didn't make the top 7, but I had about a list of 20, and I have a lot of information, who they're good for, just an easy way to explain the features and benefits of all these different tools. So if you're joining us live, just type in send. I'll send it to you tomorrow. I don't want to spam everyone. And if you're listening on the podcast, same thing. In the show notes, there's always a way that you can email me, connect with me on LinkedIn. Just go ahead and just say send. You don't even have to say anything else. Just say send, and I'll send it over your way. All right. One last before we get going, a little bit of a build up here, guys. So just as a reminder, we have a super, super good show tomorrow. I'm excited. Mark DeGrasse is the president of Digital Marketer. So he's going to be joining the show, sharing some AI secrets to supercharge your marketing. If you don't know Digital Marketer, they are, essentially anyone in sales, marketing, small business owners, you've probably heard and learned from Digital Marketer. They are one of the biggest names out there in marketing, advertising, communication. So super excited to have Mark, the president of the company, on the show tomorrow. That's going to be a great one. But without further ado, let's get into it. Let's talk about the top 7 amazing AI tools you've probably never heard of. All right, we're going to start at the top. DID. It's not the easiest name or the easiest thing to remember because sometimes I think AI tools are acronym soup. But DID definitely stands out above a lot for its some of its unique features. So they kind of actually, at least on their homepage, market themselves almost as a synthesia. So that the other thing, guys, I'm going to be dropping like name dropping a lot of other tools. A lot of them are in this document. We're going to be sharing about some others in the newsletter, so don't worry. So DID kind of positions itself like just talking avatars, right? Pretty realistic, as you can see on the screen if you are joining us. And as a reminder to people on the podcast, I am sharing my screen. I'm going to do my best to describe what's going on. But what I actually think is a little more impressive with DID is just their avatars. So yes, there are realistic ones, but as I'm showing on my screen now, you can upload voice audio, type in your own text, but you can also create very realistic avatars. So text to voice or text to video. And the quality of these is fantastic. It's also a little scary, right? This was one of those tools that kind of, probably 6 to 8 months ago was really going viral because you had these very lifelike creatures with very realistic voices. And it caught a lot of people's attention, but it also kind of scared people. But that is one of the features that I think is really great about DID. And then another one, and there's a lot of different use cases for this, but they also have what they call chat DID, which is essentially kind of the similar thing where you could create an avatar for your company. So instead of a chat bot, you can create a smart, think of like a version of GPT, and have an actual avatar for your brand, for your company, talk to people in real time. Pretty cool. Yes. Dr. Harvey Castro says we need a show on DID. He says it's cool and he uses it at times. Yeah. It's so good. It's so good. And there are so many use cases, but I got to get to all 7 of these. So DID, number 1 on the list. Also, I should have started with this. These are not necessarily my favorite 7 AI tools. These are not the ones that I use most. I've used, I think, everything on this list pretty consistently. But these are the 7 that I think for our audience, because our audience, we have big business leaders, we have small business CEOs, we have marketers, we have solopreneurs. We have so many different people tuning into the show. So I think these are the 7 most useful and flexible different AI tools that can be used across a variety of ways to market, grow your business, grow your career. And I'm going to hope to try to speak on that to all of these and talk about some use cases here. So, all right, let's keep going. Jasper, number 2. All right. And I kind of feel bad because I have name dropped Jasper once or twice on the show before. Should have had its own episode because it's a great tool. All right. And we've been using Jasper since the week it came out, which I think was late. It was either late 2020 or early 2021. So Jasper was actually formerly called Jarvis. So shout out to the CEO, Dave, who's very hands-on with the community. But it is think of it like this: if GPT-4 and a Word doc combined. So the thing that I really like about Jasper, it is very intuitive to use. One thing, yes, I talk about ChatGPT a whole lot, but I'm not a fan of the interface. It's not the easiest, user interface, user experience. Jasper is fantastic when it comes to that. They have something called a power editor, where essentially, you can choose different features. On the left side, you can work on it in the middle, and then on the right hand side, kind of build your document. But the thing that I like about Jasper, and it is connected to GPT-4, so you do have kind of that writing power or writing depth that you would want or expect out of a high quality GPT or AI writing assistant. But the thing that I really like is you can work inside of a document, right? So you can take an existing document, bring it in. You can use AI between paragraphs, and there's great easy commands that you can use and just talk to Jasper like a human. So you can have in your head, you could bullet point an email, or you could bullet point a blog post, and then you can just tell Jasper, hey, turn this into a 1,000-word blog post in this tone, right? So it's something that, if you're a Chat GPT power user and you haven't used any other GPT tools, I think Jasper is a great one because it's a very familiar experience to work inside of a document and to be able to use the things that you probably have grown to love, the features of ChatGPT and how flexible it is. But being able to have that in a document with a better user interface is fantastic. Jackie, great question. And please keep the questions coming, y'all. Is there a free version of Jasper for students? I don't believe so. So I'm actually turning my head here to look on my other screen. I don't think that there is I stand correct. I think there is a 7-day trial, but I don't think there's a free plan, Jackie. Um, but so sorry, couldn't pull that one. And yes, okay, Dr. Harvey Castro says he personally finds Jasper expensive and he's just using ChatGPT. Yeah. They did drop the price recently. I believe here we can find out live, y'all. I think it is 49. Oh, maybe they changed the price. Oh, it starts at $39 a month. So yeah, depending on how much you use it, that might be worth it. It might not. All right, let's keep moving on. And please keep the questions coming. I hope some of these AI tools, maybe you haven't heard of them. It looks like some of you have, but I got a couple others. All right, let's talk about Pictory. I think it's like victory, but with a P, and a cute little purple octopus. All right, so this is great for content marketers. So essentially what Pictory does, and I'm going to kind of scroll here, but you can enter a script, right? And from a written script, you can create a fairly high quality uh, video that you can use, right? Complete with cuts. It lines up um, to the words that are in your script. Obviously you can go from combine different tools and techniques. So you could write a script from ChatGPT and bring it into Pictory and create a pretty good AI generated video that matches up to the descriptions. This tool has been around for quite a while, but it's kind of really grown in popularity. People people do these kind of what's it called, the faceless YouTube channels, and I know a lot of people use Pictory for that. So maybe you have a lot of great information to share about your company, or maybe you're just trying to start something up or have a little side hustle, and maybe you don't want to put your face on camera for whatever reason. If you have great information, you can get pretty good videos with Pictory. Uh, Yeah. So Michael says missing AppSumo's Pictory sale will haunt me for the rest of this year, at least. Yeah. So there are a lot of different softwares and tools. We should talk about this. Not all of these are free. Some of them, might have started on a software platform that would sell something for a one-time price, and then after that, it's kind of like a monthly subscription for a lot of these. So thank you for some of you in the comments that are pointing this out. But yes, some of these have free trials, but most of them, yes, you are going to have to pay for these monthly. But I think a lot of them are worth it. If I'm being honest. Again, if they fit your use case, I think a lot of these are going to be worth it. All right, so Pictory, I believe that was our number 3. All right, so let's go to number 4. Well Said Labs. Well Said Labs is crazy when it comes to text to speech. It is by far, I think, the most realistic text to speech platform that is publicly available, right? I think that Google has their Soundstorm, which is going to be great, but I don't believe it's available yet. They announced it a couple months ago. And also, like I talked about at the top of the show, 11 Labs actually just released their V2 this was just a couple hours ago. So I still have to do a comparison for the V2 of 11 Labs versus Well Said, but Well Said Labs, the amount of control that you have in this text to speech platform is outstanding. I never know if this is going to work. I'm going to play a little 2 to 3 second clip. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it. I'm going to try, but we'll see if you can hear this text to speech here.
Thank you for joining us for our overview of mediation. In this introductory series, we'll explore the purpose of mediation and the role of a mediator.
All right, so I don't know if you could hear that, but the quality of Well Said Labs is outstanding, right? Like I said, I do have to do some comparisons with 11 Labs with this the V2 version with Well Said, but and there's so many different use cases, I think, for Well Said Labs. So maybe you have a podcast, maybe you want if you have a great blog and you want an audio option. So if someone lands on your blog post and you want someone to be able to listen to it instead of read it, right? So there's a lot of different use cases for text to speech platforms. I think Well Said is one of the best. Dr. Harvey Castro, does Well Said Labs beat 11 Labs version 1? Yes. Version 2, I don't know, but I believe it does. Just the amount of control that you have in Well Said Labs is fantastic. I know that a lot of their customers are in kind of very creative roles. So like they have a lot of video game customers, people who do movies, animation. So the quality and how you can tweak the voices is pretty impressive. Where I think I'll say this, 11 labs, don't get me wrong, extremely high quality. It's kind of like 1A and 1B. So great question there. Does this compare? So Juliet asking, does this compare with Speechify? It's in another league. Speechify is a good tool. Well Said Labs is in another league. Can you clone your voice on Well Said Labs? Another question. I am not sure. I will check and let you know. Yeah, Dr. Harvey Castor, I know that he cloned his voice for a podcast with 11 labs. So he just dropped the link there. All right, let's keep going. A couple other tools. And let me know, what questions do you have? Are any of these tools helpful so far? Which one do you guys think would you use so far? We've gone through a couple. DID for some very, very good purposes, creating avatars and having them to be able to talk and kind of be a spokesperson. We talked about Jasper, which is great for content creation. Pictory to be able to create high quality YouTube videos just from a text prompts or text script. We talked about Well Said Labs, which I think is probably the best publicly available text-to-speech platform. Next but not least, this isn't last, but Meet Geek. All right. This is where I talk about time. Time. How many of you all spend too much time in meetings? Anyone out there? Does it ever feel like your day is just back to back to back to back meetings? And if you're not meeting, you're probably doing something that was required of you either to prepare or follow up in a meeting, right? Sending an email with action items, something like that. This is why I love MeetGeek. I've been using MeetGeek for years. So MeetGeek does this. It will join your Zoom meetings for you. So similar to something like Otter AI is another popular one. The reason I really like MeetGeek is it will give you a lot of information after your meeting. Yes, it gives you the transcript, fine, right? No big deal. And you can watch the video of the meeting as well. So if someone's sharing something on the screen, and you can very easily search for things that people talked about, right? And watch the video during that time. All great, but there's so many platforms that do that. The thing I really like about MeetGeek is you'll see here, it gives you AI meeting minutes. This is such a time saver because before this technology, I would type, right? I'm a former journalist. I would type almost every important thing someone said because, whether it's working with clients, prospective client, whatever, an interview, I would want to make sure that I got almost everything that was said. And then I would go through and read my notes and, do action items, follow up, insights. The AI meeting minutes does it all for you. It gives you an action item list based on what people say. It talks about sentiment, things that went well, things that are neutral, things that didn't go well. So it's such a great tool, especially if you spend a lot of time in meetings. So I will say this. An AI meeting assistant, I think, is probably the number one thing that most of you out there should go ahead and find the one that works for you, right? Yes, a lot of these things are give you new capabilities or allow you to take your current skills a little further. I think having an AI meeting assistant, something like MeetGeek, is one of the things that's going to instantly give you your time back, right? I think that the everyday person is being asked to do more and more in their role, and a lot of it involves meetings. So MeetGeek, love it. I'm a huge fan. I've been using it for a couple years, and just being able to have those AI recaps is something that is very, very helpful. All right. Yeah. Maybrit says MeetGeek would be perfect for beta user interviews, adding it to your list. Yeah, I love it. Maybrit, I love MeetGeek. It's one of my most used AI softwares, and I have a lot. All right. We're gonna get wrapping up here, y'all, because just two more on the list. So Perplexity. I should talk about Perplexity more. I don't. I have mentioned it a couple times on the show. The thing I like about Perplexity, it is, I would say, a combination of Chat GPT and Google. Okay. So I'm just going to do a quick example. I didn't want to demo a lot of things. I'm just going to say breathtaking. Sure. There's some suggested searches. I'm going to go ahead and say breathtaking adventure books about Africa, just so you can kind of see. So the thing I really like about Perplexity is the Copilot feature. They do have a free version, and I think you can get up to 5 Copilot searches in Perplexity. The thing that I really like, and you'll kind of see on the screen here, is you get the GPT-4, so the Copilot with limited searches on the free plan. You get a handful of those every 4 hours, so 5 every 4 hours, I believe. And it is GPT-4. And you get the thing that I love is it is so well sourced out of the box. So, people always worry, and I get it, when using a large language model like ChatGPT or Bard or Cloud about hallucinations. So anytime I'm doing heavy large language model work, I have 2 screens and my screens are split in half, right? So I have 4 chats open at any time. 2 to 3 will always be ChatGPT. And usually 1 will always be Perplexity, because I like to source things. I like to double check things, and Perplexity is one of the best ways to do it. And you can kind of see here, it really, I think, brings the best of both worlds. And it tells you right here, it says, considering 15 sources. This is one of the fastest ways for anyone out there to research and learn a new topic, and combine this with ChatGPT plugins, and you are well on your way. Perplexity is a very useful tool. You can use their search. I know someone else mentioned, using their Chrome extension. I think that's, Dr. Harvey Castro here just said, love the Perplexity Chrome plugin. It's fantastic. So if you haven't used or heard of Perplexity, there's a pretty good free plan, I think. And it is a great way to source your information. So most people, because they haven't gone through the PPP class, if you've gone through Prime Prompt Polish, you're probably not getting many hallucinations if you're following our method, right? But if not, AI chats lie all the time, literally all the time. So Perplexity is a great, I don't think it's going to do as well, if you want it to create long blog posts, things like that, but it's great to source and to fact check things. All right. Last but not least, beautiful AI, right? So we talked about, I wanted this list to focus on things that the everyday person does a lot of, right? So creating content, Jasper, great tool. Around marketing and sales, I think DID, Pictory, great for those things, right? Well Said Labs, I think, gives you a lot of flexibility in different areas. Geek gives you your time back. Perplexity, I think, just helps you fact check a lot of things. And this is great to use. It saves you time. Beautiful AI. I mean, maybe I'm falling for their marketing a little bit, but it's beautiful. It creates presentations with AI, essentially text to presentation. And there's a lot of them that do that. Tome is another great one, but I wanted to highlight beautiful AI. So I'm going to kind of show you on the screen here, kind of like examples that they have. So, you can type in something as simple as word cloud of the name of the planets, which I just clicked, and it right there just created a word cloud of the name of the planets. So this is, I think, beautiful AI. Again, paid tools. Almost all of these are paid tools. Some of them have free plans or limited time previews. But something like this, I think, is so important, because yes, you have your tools like Midjourney, which you can do text to image, and then you have your large language models, which can give you text to text. So think of beautiful AI as text to graphics or text to presentation, right? To be able, especially, to combine these tools, right? So let's say, for whatever reason, let's do one that's maybe a little more applicable. So pie chart of market share of social media networks, right? You click it and it's there. So to be able to combine a graphic or graphics like this. Let's say you're pitching someone on buying your social media services, right? And you want to convince them in this chart. It shows like Facebook has 50% of the market share, right? To be able to combine this then with something like ChatGPT or Midjourney images, you can really create high quality presentations with the text and corresponding images as well. So there's a lot of different use cases of beautiful AI. So make sure to check out the newsletter. We're going to be recapping not just beautiful AI, but a lot of these other ones as well. All right. With that, I have to take one small sip of coffee. That was a lot. That was a lot. Juliet said, PPP is such a great class. Thank you. I appreciate that. Kevin says pie charts are overrated. I agree with that. But one thing, I think beautiful AI actually does a pretty good job of making good looking charts, right? You see some on the screen. They're not just boring pie charts. There's some great interactive ones that have some good visuals. Terrence, what's up, TB? Terrence says, I use beautiful AI for a presentation and it's worth its money. Yeah, so many of these tools, right? So many of these tools as we wrap up here. Yeah, they have paid plans, right? Not all of them are free. However, think of the time savings. Think of, even just to pick one out, which I think is probably going to give you your best, give you the most time back right away. A tool like Geek or Otter AI, right? That can attend your meetings. It can take track of everything that's going on. Geek will give me a summary. It'll say, here's all of the action items. Here's what each person needs to do, right? So yeah, you might have to pay, $20 a month, $30 a month, $40 a month for some of these things. But yeah, like what Jackie says here, that's a crazy time saver. How much is your time worth, right? If you're in meetings all day, I think something like Geek is worth it. It's going to save you maybe hours a day. If you're in a lot of meetings, it's going to save you hours a day. If you're constantly building presentations, something like beautiful AI, like if you're still doing it old school, right? Just working off PowerPoint templates or Google Slide templates. Not only I think will beautiful AI give you better looking, but it's going to save you so much time. You can take all of your info that you have, put it in there, right? So it's not like you're just, leaving it up to random internet AI sorcery. You can enter your own info in there, right? So this was a lot. Brian says, great stuff, Jordan. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Brian. Okay. This is it, y'all. It went a little long. However, like I said, I had a list of about 20. It was very hard for me to whittle this down to 7. And I'm feeling a little regret because I'm like, man, there are some really cool AI tools that I could have shared about this instead. But as you can see how long, like imagine if I did 20, this would have been a 3-hour podcast. No one wants that. All right. So if you do want the full list, just go ahead, type in send in the comments here. I'll send you the full list probably by tomorrow because there's actually 2 more tools that I wanted to add to that top 20 list. And if you're listening on the podcast, same thing. Look in the show notes. Every single day we put great resources there. So you can just click to email me and just say send. I'll know what that means. I'll send you the list. All right. So as a reminder, join us tomorrow. This is going to be a good one. Mark DeGrasse, the president of Digital Marketer. I can't wait for this one. So I hope you join us, not just tomorrow, but I hope you come back every day or more every day. AI. Thanks, y'all.